Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I said morning. I actually fell asleep last night early, uh, earlier than I'd like to admit, watching TV with Arlen. So I paid the price of waking up early. It's now 2:30 a.m. here in the Philippines, and I'm on my third cup of coffee. So rent versus own. This is always a slightly controversial subject here. And it is that way because so many of us are different. But let's take a look at some of the things that are applicable to all of us. And then you have to figure out where you fit in. So let's talk about it.
I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
All right. I think the first thing that you have to do in order for you to really make these kind of decisions, are you married or are you single? Are you talking about building or are you talking about a condo? All right, let's talk first about married versus single. If you're single, and unless you have that attitude that you have to have a permanent base, I would never recommend that you buy anything until you've been around for a while. And here's why. All right. Construction in the Philippines, materials, even stuff down to the faucets and things like that vary. So if you're single, you're doing the condo thing. You're not buying land and building a house. We'll get to that. All right. Before you jump my ass, we'll get to that in just a minute as to why. But you're looking at a condo. All right. Until you recognize just how shoddy construction can be, until you recognize what those things are, you think you're buying a brand new condo and it's perfect, it's going to be far, far from it in our experience and in the experience of many of the people that we speak to about many of the different aspects. So, other than that, I think that you need to be around for a while because you need to know where you want to really be. Then you have to look at the financial issues. What are you going to do with this condo when you die? Now, interesting thought on that. But before I get to it, let me ask you this. Please do subscribe, do hit that thumbs up, share, like, and hit the notify button. We would really, really appreciate it. All right. So who are you going to leave this thing to? What are you going to do with it when you die? Who's going to transact anything here in the Philippines if you're single? Okay. Now, you could do like some of our friends. They plan on dying. They're single. They plan on dying. They plan on leaving it to their child. And in some instances, the condo's already in their child's name in the U.S., all right, which is totally legal here. And it's going to go into a rental management company, and the proceeds will automatically get direct deposited into their U.S. bank account. Sure, you can do that. All right. But you know something? Management companies eat up profits. But then again, it's there. And if your child ever wants to visit the Philippines, well, there you go. However, if there's nowhere for you to leave it, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this thing? Give it to your favorite bar girl? That's a poor choice, really and truly, because it'll be on the market in about 48 hours in most instances. Now, if you're married, you know something? I'm going to use Arlene and I as an example. Our condo is in Arlene's name. Yes, that's absolutely true. I take that risk. Okay? But you can also have a will that says, you know what? Upon my death, my condo should go into my wife's name. Do that to make sure you avoid the Philippines version of probate. Okay? And check with a financial advisor to make sure that your spouse that you're going to leave it in her name or put it in her name is not going to have to pay capital gains. Perhaps another way of doing that would be, you know something? We're going to put it in both of our names. And then in my will, my share goes to her. And check with your financial folks. Will she have to pay capital gains on the portion that goes fully into her name? In our instance, we avoid all of that. I'm just at risk of being thrown to the curb. So, love you, honey. All right. Hope I don't get thrown to the curb. All right. Now, let's talk about land and building homes. First off, under most 99.99919% of the people that are watching this video are going to be incapable or will be smart enough to recognize that what it takes to own dirt in the Philippines is not worth it. And I say it just like this. I'm only going to say this once. I've done videos on this again. There are going to be people in the comments below that are going to disagree. If you want to own dirt, there is a way to do it legally. Legally. All right? That means you have a U.S. corporation. You know what? I'm not even going to go into the specifics. I'm going to just say this. Look at the 2022 amended Foreign Investment Act of the Philippines. And I'm also going to say this. I actually looked into it. In order for me to physically own dirt would cost, in my estimation, about $1 million just to set up. You have to fall in certain categories of businesses. It has to be done through a corporation that goes through the Foreign Investment Act. You have to be the sole owner. You don't need Filipino partners, but it has to be a legitimate business, legitimate employees, and a legitimate revenue stream. So already that counts out 99.9999919%. Okay? Now, that being said again, suppose you're going to build a house on top of other property. You could, I guess. You know what? Not the financial risk position I want to take. A lot of people do it. They take out land leases and then build. All right? But let's get back to the fact that what are you going to do with it? Okay? Do you have a fiance? Do you have a wife? Whatever. If you have a wife or a fiance, just buy the land. Put it in her name. Buy the land. Take your shot. You know, we always tell people this. Don't ever put a dime into the Philippines or any other foreign country that you're not willing to lose or walk away from. And that is just the way it is. So, rent versus own. We know a lot of people, I mean, when you own, you have to maintain it. You have to pay HOAs. You know, we're talking about condos. And the reason that all of this comes up is we had a subscriber who really and truly is looking very deep into these things. And we talked to them, exchanged some messages and everything, and they came to the conclusion that this may not be a good idea. It's not like the U.S. You don't see huge appreciation periods of values, then depreciation, then appreciation, but you're always ahead of the curve most of the time, depending on when you buy and how long you hold. The Philippines is not like that. We know people that are in condos that they bought 5 years ago, and there's no way they could sell that condo for a dime more than they bought it for. If you think it's going to be an appreciating asset, I would think twice. So it may just be perfect for you to just rent. And that gives you the time to look at the quality of workmanship and construction that goes on in different places, so that if you do finally decide to buy, now you have a little bit more knowledge. You have a little bit more time in, I guess, time and service of understanding, if you've lived in multiple places, how poor some of the construction can be. It can look very nice, don't get me wrong, but it's very cheaply built. All right. It happens. It really and truly does. You have to be careful about that. So why not rent? All right. What about pets? What about anything and everything? All right. It just doesn't matter. It's a decision that you have to make. But sometimes, more often than not, renting is a better option for many, if not most, expats. Just in our opinion. Now, again, this gets very controversial. Comments below. Tell us what you think. And we'll try and answer some questions for you if they're not too crazy. We get some crazy comments once in a while. Otherwise, hey, look, we really appreciate your time. We really appreciate you dropping in. And we hope you have a great day.